It is my great honor to welcome here and give the floor to the leader of the Crimean Tatar people, Mr. Mustafa Dzhemilev. Mustafa ага, запрошую вас до слова.
Спасибо. Saygılı Ukrayna Cumhurbaşkanı, Başbakanımız, saygılı Ukrayna Parlamento Başkanı,
Dear Mr. President, Prime Minister, Mr. Speaker of Parliament, distinguished guests and participants in the Crimea Platform. I would like to cordially welcome and thank you for initiating and taking part in this platform dedicated to finding a peaceful solution for the deoccupation of Crimea and restoring territorial integrity of this country. I would also like to thank you on behalf of my compatriots trapped in Crimea, for whom this forum is a ray of hope to a liberation that will hopefully come soon. Given the time slot, I may not have enough time to express to this summit all my thoughts, so I have asked the Secretariat to print off and circulate my speech, and as soon as my time elapses, I will simply stop talking. I'm one of the representatives of Crimea's First Nation, indigenous people, who in this war by Russia against Ukraine has been the one that has suffered the most. Those who survived the deportation and genocide of 1944 that the singer Dzhemilev sang about at the opening of this forum, they fought for over half a century for their democratic rights, for the right to return to their homeland, which only became possible in the years of the final perestroika of the Soviet Union and the independence of Ukraine. And once again, my people is under occupation, and this occupation regime, by many measures, is even worse than Soviet occupation, and my people have been forced to leave their homeland again. Over the past 7.5 years, they have succeeded in expelling over 30,000 Crimean Tatars, and according to varying estimations, they have brought in 6,000 to 1.5 million people from mainland Russia. In those turbulent days of February 2014, when we had Russian military helicopters flying overhead, and we saw a motorcade of Russian military hardware approaching, we couldn't believe what was actually happening, that it was an occupation, in fact. Under the Budapest Memorandum of 1996, we had surrendered Soviet nuclear weapons against guarantees extended by nuclear powers, including Russia, guarantees of our territorial integrity. We had signed an international, a bilateral treaty with Russia, establishing no territorial claims between the two countries. And there is also the final act of the Helsinki Accords and the UN Charter, which clearly establishes that national boundaries are inviolable. And we were certain that the international community, and in particular the nuclear powers that had signed the Budapest Memorandum, that they would act very strongly and very decisively to curb the aggression. But this, unfortunately, never happened. We appreciate the resolutions passed by the UN Security Council and various international institutions demanding that Crimean occupation end. And we would also like to extend our appreciation for the sanctions that have been imposed on the aggressor country. But that, unfortunately, has not sufficed to secure a deoccupation. The UN has proved incapable, and it's not to be expected to become capable of ending this aggression of those flagrant land grabs and international terrorism as long as the aggressor power retains its right of veto in the UN Security Council. Russia has openly stated that it refuses to abide by international sanctions and decisions of those international institutions. And the massive Russian propaganda that has been unleashed keeps repeating the rhetoric that Russia is so strong it can annihilate the whole world. And that's why no one could possibly impose any decision on Russia. 4 months ago, the President of France, Emmanuel Macron, in his speech on the US channel CBC, indicated that the Russian invasion into Ukraine was the product of too much trust being put by the international community in Russia, and now those red lines should finally be established. These words certainly fill us with hope, because this clearly indicates that at long last the international community, Western countries, are prepared to act to counter Russia's aggressive actions. And this is what really matters. Where is that red line? And how far are we still away from it? The Moldovan partition, essentially, and the grabbing of Georgian territory and land grabs in Ukraine, and the murder of thousands in Syria through their puppet representatives, and millions of refugees that have flooded the world, and meddling in other countries' electoral systems, killing people holding dissident views, and the use of internationally banned chemical weapons. Do these things not clearly indicate Russia has crossed all possible red lines? We very keenly appreciate that each country serves its own national interests. But isn't it in the wider international interest to live in a world where there is force of law, not law of force, where anyone violating international law should be punished, that each country will certainly defend its own territory from any foreign invasion, but if a land grab goes unpunished by other countries, can other countries feel secure in such an environment? There is a saying popular among Crimean Tatars: the kingdom of jackals will continue until the lions rise up. We very much hope that the international community will rise up and stand firmly on its feet in order to re-establish international law, rule of law in my homeland, not the law of brute force. And this is what the entire Crimean Platform is dedicated to, and the declaration that is about to be signed. I would like to once again thank the distinguished representatives of the participating countries who, despite Russian threats, despite the ongoing pandemic, have carved the time out to attend this important summit. Thank you.